Live.
Stevie, put your glasses up.
We're breaking through the airwaves. We're breaking through the airwaves. This is the old bull. Back on the 307 podcast. Stevie Wonder, the priest from the east, sitting over here on the right hand side.
Is he from the east?
Blacked out like a black curtain on a Memphis trick. Eating at Roslow's shack down yonder on Beale Street. Priest cornbread. We got Pope Chili running the meeting, bringing the stats. Looking to drive out the demon of Donald Trump. While Marjorie Taylor Greene tried to kill him last week. But you can't kill the Pope. He's back. But he ain't in black. And he's poor just like you are. Breaking through the airwaves. We got the deacon. The bishop. Sitting behind the big screen. Bishop's counting that money. Making sure we can buy them groceries. Bishop went to the grocery store yesterday. He seen 2 ribeye steaks was $40. He said, daggone, I might have to start eating lamb. The Pope said it was sinful to eat lamb. Count the money, Bishop.
1, 2,000, 3,000.
Welcome back to the 307 podcast. What's up, boys?
Well, brother, glad you back.
Good to be back.
Took you long enough.
It's been a while.
Good night.
About a month, hadn't it?
Yeah, we're glad you're back.
Yeah.
This I saw on Cornbread's Truck Talk. He said I had been riding a bicycle for 2 weeks. I was gone for 2 weeks. I only pushed my bicycle for 10 days.
Well, so if somebody
that.
if somebody asked me every day, where's Chad at? It was riding a bicycle in Colorado. Riding a bicycle, Colorado.
There was very little riding involved.
Yeah, I seen that. That would have ticked me off, Bubba. I seen that.
But I think there's a remedy to that. I think the bike was too heavy, man. I mean, it was just too heavy. That crap is rocky, dude. Did some famous person say, I thought the Rocky Mountains would be more rocky than this? Somebody said that.
Is that a quote?
I think so, yeah.
Well,
But whoever said that is an idiot. Because that mess was rocky, son.
Sound like something John Wayne would say. He walked like a female anyway.
Sound like something John Denver would say.
Look, God created the San Juan Mountains, and then he forsook them. He just forsook them. That's the worst place on earth, dude. The San Juan Mountains. It's like the surface of the moon. Look, them guys I was out there with, they kept saying, oh boy, this is beautiful. No, the San Juan Mountains ain't beautiful. It's like the people ain't got no business in the San Juan Mountains. There ain't nothing out there but rocks and grass. There's barely any water. There ain't no animals. There ain't nothing out there. How is that beautiful? It's like saying the surface of the moon is beautiful.
How long was you in the San Juan Mountains?
An entire day. It took me about 17 hours to cross the San Juan Mountains. An entire day. And it was awful. Up about 12, 13,000 feet, just going through pass after pass after pass. It's just a terrible place, man.
That's a Dumb and Dumber quote.
oh,
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense then.
Golly.
Yeah, the bike was just too heavy, man. You can't ride across that stuff with a heavy bike like that.
Why was your bike so heavy?
I mean, by the time you put water, food, sleep system, your lights, for extra batteries, all the little odds and ends it takes, that crap adds up quick, man.
But wasn't it by far the heaviest, your food and water?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what could you have not taken to make it lighter?
Well, the way you could have done it is you could have not taken a sleep system. You could have cut way down on like your clothing, like insulating layers and stuff. So you could have cut down, you probably could have cut, I don't know, 6 or 7 pounds off the bike, and then hopefully have just rode fast enough to get through to whatever the next town was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that would have forced you to ride through the night a couple of times.
Yeah.
For sure, which would have been really difficult. It's hard. I mean, the trail we're riding on, dude, is a hiking trail. I mean, it's at some places 6 inches wide and grown up with grass and stuff, on both sides. And so riding through the night would have been hard, but I think it would have been doable, So that would have been the only other way to do it.
What do you think the total weight of your bike was?
60 pounds,
Yeah.
Really?
50, 60 pounds.
What could you get it to? 40?
Well, no, if he just shaved 6 pounds, he'd only.
No, I think I could probably shave. You probably could shave more than 6. Yeah, I mean,
Well, that ain't
basically the only way to shave it down would be to say, I'm only taking what's necessary for me to keep moving. And so then all you would have on your bike is food and water.
But then
and
again,
a light.
That's your biggest weight, so it doesn't decrease it that much. And you're saying like, oh, ride this much faster with the lighter bike. Well, crap, it ain't that much lighter.
Well,
How much faster you gonna ride?
and then that's the other thing. Like, those mountains will kill you. So going out into those mountains without layers and without sleep system and like some way to hunker down if you got hurt or wrecked or something like that, going out in there without that type of equipment, a full loadout like I had, it would be extremely dangerous because those mountains will kill you, son. I'm talking about it gets cold in them mountains.
yeah, so how you not gonna take layers?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. If you stayed moving, you wouldn't need those extra layers. But if you got in a wreck or you got behind on calories or something and you couldn't move, you would liable to die out there. I mean, look, dude, there were so many times out there that I was in a position where I was so worn out and miserable that I didn't want to go anymore. But I knew that if I stayed where I was, the environment would just freaking eat me alive, dude. Would just probably just kill me. Like pushing my bike through a daggone pass at 12,000 feet over sheer rock. I'm talking about rock like Lone Peak rock. and a storm is in the pass and there's lightning striking on little knobs 200-300 yards to each side of me, and my freaking beard starts to stand up, man. There's so much electricity in the air and hail just pelting down on me. And like, well, here I am pushing my bike, but I literally can't stop because if I don't make it through this pass, well, I'm just going to sit here and die. Like that happened many times. Like, so cold and miserable, getting beat down with rain and hail and lightning that, you zip your rain jacket up and you zip your half of your beard up into your rain jacket. And instead of undoing your rain jacket and getting your beard out, you just rip the bottom half of your beard off to get it out of your rain jacket. I'm talking about that freaking savage, dude. I'm talking about full out savage.
Good night, son.
Rough.
Do you think that's what drives your opinion of the San Juan Mountains? Maybe it is beautiful there. Maybe you was just miserable atop of them. Maybe it really is pretty, and you're like, man, this is some bull crap.
It was bull crap, man. No,
Well,
it
you
ain't
couldn't
pretty.
see it, Stevie.
People ain't got no business in the San Juans. You couldn't survive in the San Juans. There's nothing out there.
Everything's beautiful to Stevie.
No, man. And another thing, the San Juans, and not just the San Juans, but in a lot of those areas, again, it's completely exposed. So, the weather's always there. There was not a single moment where there was not a massive thunderstorm somewhere. And dude, you're on these ridge lines, and no kidding, man, like out here, when a storm blows up, you get caught out in it, like you might worry about lightning a little bit. When a storm blows up out there, you are just waiting any minute for a bolt of lightning to strike you, because you're the highest thing around. There ain't a tree or nothing. And it's hitting everywhere. And this thunder, dude, when this thunder hits, because it is so open and them big canyons, the thunder will you can feel it in your chest. It's so loud. So the weather's always there. And you constantly have this sense of doom. It may not be right on top of you, but you can see it, and you just can't relax, because you're just like, when is this son of a gun gonna hit me, man? Yeah. And then of course you're pushing the bike. So it's not like you can just run faster. And I didn't have a tent either. So it's not like you could just tent up, which if you tent it up anyways, that doesn't protect you from lightning. You're still just hanging it out there. So no, dude, the San Juans is crap. Now there is a road that comes down all out of the San Juans, out of Stony Pass. Y'all ever heard of Stony Pass?
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Well, there's a road that comes down out of Stony Pass down into Silverton. It's got to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. This was a gravel road. It was about 7 miles, ran straight down off of that mountain. Took you from about 12,500 feet to about 8,000 feet in elevation.
Dang.
In 7 miles?
It's probably 6 or 7 miles. Yeah. It just switchbacks down through this freaking canyon, dude. It was ungodly. The terrain out there is just, but I will tell you, man, when you spend all that time out there, that country, that's country, son. I'm talking about that's big country. You spend all that time out there, man, and you see all that country, it does make you wonder, why the crap am I living in Georgia? It really does. Did you see that mule deer buck?
I did. That was a big boy.
I saw a good handful like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that country out there is endless, dude. That country's so big, people don't even fence their cows. The cows they're just out, man. Like old school, son. I'm assuming they go out there on horseback once a year and do like a roundup or something. I mean, it's wild. It does make you wonder why you're living in Georgia. Well, welcome back to the 3 to 7 podcast, everybody. I'm back in town. Chilly and them, man. Did y'all miss me while I was gone?
I did miss you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed y'all too. Y'all held the fort down though.
Well, we kept it from blowing away.
I got in here, man, and they showed me all this stuff they've been doing while I've been gone. First of all, on Patreon, there's a chat feature on Patreon that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
And they just opened that up on Patreon. So if you're on Patreon with us, just know that there's a daggone chat feature on there that now it just opens up this line of communication, not only with us, but with everybody who's on Patreon. That was really cool. I didn't even know that existed until today. I can't wait to go back through there and take a look at that, man. People posting pictures on there and they can respond to each other. That was a sweet feature. They got daggone air fresheners. Did y'all tell the people about those?
We did. Absolutely.
Can I have one of those for my Dodge, man?
Yeah. Yeah, you can have one.
Go order one.
For the Dodge. Only one. You got like 10 vehicles. You can only have one. One.
Dang. Limited supplies, huh?
That's right.
When you drive another one, you can just take it out of the Dodge and put it in
You
that
can have
one.
one for the Dodge and the boat.
What's the scent of that?
Ocean.
Deep ocean.
Yeah. Ocean.
Okay.
Sure is.
I like that. I'd like to actually have one that's a spruce scent at some point.
That's just typical smell there. I mean, everybody back that's like 70s and 80s
Yeah.
type smells.
Yeah.
Spruce and pine. This is 2024, Bubba.
Ocean.
Ocean. Yeah.
Well, what's it smell like? Salt?
Smells like a wharf. You know how it smells when you get on a wharf and you're about to go deep sea fishing? That's what it smells like.
No kidding.
It smells just like a
It
wharf.
does.
Yeah.
Dang, dude. Yeah, I want to get one of those before I leave today to go on my Dodge, man. That's a sharp unit right
It
there.
is. It's nice.
That is a sharp unit. They got daggone air fresheners in the store, man. I mean, seriously, whose idea was that?
Corns, man.
Holy crap,
You
dude.
gotta smell good, Bubba.
Corn's all about them vehicle accessories.
He's all about
accessorize.
smells too.
Well,
Yeah.
he ain't all about maintenance in a vehicle. He just
No.
likes it to smell good, huh?
Yeah. Put personalized.
Corn will go for 2 years without changing his oil.
Oh,
Man, y'all don't fall into that myth of oil changing. We'll get into that later.
You change your serpentine belt way too early.
Yeah.
You don't want that serpentine belt to go out and do you chili.
no, you'll end up in a barricade on the side of the interstate about to die.
It's not good.
That's all right.
Everything, when that serpentine belt goes out, everything goes
all
out
of,
with
all
it.
of it. Water pump, alternator,
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah. And then you guys listed another custom quilt.
Yeah,
Which one's
it's
up?
been on there a while. I don't even know what is it. The
Like wood. Is it? I have to look which
Blue
one.
and
Look, you
red.
guys don't even know what freaking quilt is on the store.
blue and red.
You
got
released
Cornbread
the
should know.
quilt and you
Stay
don't even know.
dangerous shirt.
Holy crap, guys.
Why would we tell them what it is? They should go look at it.
So if you guys don't know, my mother makes handmade quilts. And she made us a couple of quilts. And she actually we gave her a bunch of our own personal t-shirts. And she washed them. And she made a couple of these quilts for us, handmade. And each of them have a different theme. Right? And so we release them just every now and then. We kind of trickle them in one at a time. I wish I could see which one was up right now. Okay. Oh, I like that one. I like that one. That's got blue on it. Yep, that's got to stay dangerous and a OG Nuff said shirt on
You
it.
can't even get them anymore.
No, you can't even get that.
You can't even get that shirt for years. I mean, that's a relic just
Yeah.
in and of itself.
That's
Yeah.
legit.
Just the shirt.
So that's live on the site.
Oh yeah.
This isn't obviously this is not our normal time that we do podcasts. We usually do it on Wednesdays, but the old bull has something again that he has to do that's going to call him away from the Wednesday podcast. So we figured we'd come on here
The old bull has to work.
and talk to y'all on a. Well, Wednesday's my work day, Blake. You know you're not supposed to schedule anything else on Wednesdays.
There's a lot scheduled on Wednesdays here.
Well, you scheduled something for about 3 Wednesdays.
Well, nonetheless, you don't schedule stuff on Wednesdays, Bubba. You haven't known yet.
There's a lot scheduled on Wednesdays.
Yeah, we got several more.
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
Heck yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, man.
Wednesdays is big, Bubba.
Oh my gosh, dude.
You've been scheduling stuff on Mondays too.
Well, we're gonna have to go in and work on this schedule later today.
Yep.
So that's why we're here on a Monday instead of a Wednesday. Sounds like we may have to do this in the future, other times.
Hey, if
too.
you want me to count the money, we got to get the money for me to
Okay.
count.
Okay.
Golly.
They're going to have to up them super chats if I'm on the not get the money on Wednesday.
I just can't
Jeez,
believe
Blake.
I just can't believe we're in the air freshener business.
Yeah. We're in the vehicle accessory business.
We got-
More are coming.
We got another accessory coming too, not for vehicles.
True.
That's
You-
going to be
You'd
real
consider
big.
that an accessory?
Oh, yeah. You can put your stickers on it. You
Uh-huh.
can,
You can put it's an accessory that you can put accessories on.
yeah, it's going to be big.
We got Corn's. It's going to be an auto shop here in next
Well,
year.
that's good. I like
detail
cars.
shop.
I like
want to get some
cars.
engine blocks with the 307 logo stamped in them.
Seat covers.
I like seat covers.
Yeah.
We're going to get windshield. The little sprayers on your car, and it's going to spray out in the water, but it's going to make the 307 logo when it sprays out.
There you go.
It's going to spray out of a mold that's.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't care nothing about a steering wheel cover.
Really?
No, that's gay, dude.
Well,
I don't
look,
like them
that-
at all.
there is a steering wheel cover that you can get though, Corn. They're called wheel skins. All right. And it's real leather. And you put this thing on your steering wheel and you actually take a needle. It comes with a needle and thread, and you actually sew it onto your steering wheel. They're really nice, man. Called wheel skins.
Well, what do you do when your steering wheel starts to come apart?
Just let it come apart, Bubba. It's got a hard ring on the inside. Just keep
Well,
riding.
yeah.
Just keep. ain't you
I'm
seen
not
my
going
white
to
truck?
abide that. I won't abide that.
Ain't you seen my white truck? It's got a big hunk out the middle. You just grab it and just keep rolling, son.
No, I won't abide
Well,
that.
you could do that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, those wheel skins are nice though. You should check that out.
Yeah, I'll check them out.
Yeah, I guess it's low profile, you know. It's not like the one you buy at AutoZone that's you know the
grip like
oh
that.
it's just ridiculous, man. No, these are like really nice fitted real leather steering wheel covers.
Yeah.
Takes you a couple hours to put them on, don't it?
The first time I did mine, yeah, I've got one on my old Land Cruiser. And it took me a while, but once I got it figured out now.
You know, I've been meaning to ask you. You want to work a trade on that Land Cruiser for my pickup?
Yeah, I'll trade you.
You want to? Sure enough.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna like that. That's a good rig. I tried to tell Chili I was trying to sell
I'm
that.
talking about your old blue one from my
no,
pickup truck.
No,
Or it's Tundra.
From my white Toyota.
no, I am not. I am not trading my old blue Land Cruiser for nothing, man. That thing is not for sale.
Well,
He jumped on that other Land Cruiser for that white pickup
He
truck. didn't
did.
he?
well,
I mean, he
what was
jumped
you
on-
even talking
Well,
about?
You want to
that-
trade your green Land Cruiser for a Mazda?
Well, Blake's been driving that 100 series Land Cruiser since
Yeah,
I've
that
been
one.
gone. That's a good rig, man. I mean, I wouldn't trade you for your Mazda, man. I would literally just give you that Land Cruiser if you wanted it. I was actually just gonna give it to Blake if he liked it. So
Well, yeah, you just traded him you just traded him for that white pickup.
Well, I don't know what he's talking about. Trading. I'm not trading my old Toyota for it.
You were talking about your Tundra.
No, I was talking about trading my white pickup truck for his blue Land Cruiser.
Oh,
his white Toyota pickup.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I ain't trading you for my blue Land Cruiser, man. You can take that and shove it up your butt.
I wonder why he was so quick to commit on that.
Ask me to trade for my blue Land Cruiser. You're insane, dude.
Well, you was talking about giving it away the other day.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna give it away one day for charity.
This year.
Well, Blake, I don't know.
I think I thought I busted the headlight in it the other day.
The headlight is busted.
I went and got something out of the back of it and
Yeah.
closed it, and I heard and I went to the front and there was glass on the floor, and I thought, oh boy,
Yeah, the headlight is busted
well,
out
that's
of it.
good.
But I'll get a new one. It doesn't matter. I have so much freaking money. It's ridiculous, dude. You think I give a crap about a headlight? I don't care, man. Give me a break.
Just go ahead and fix the other one too.
Yeah, I'll just put a new ones in
It ain't even broken.
all the way around. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, you guys have had plenty of time to think about it. So I just wanted to answer any of your questions that you might have had about the adventure that I just did.
Well, I was wondering.
I know there were a lot of things you'd probably be curious about.
Did everybody else push their bikes like that, or like?
So I will tell you, everyone else that I saw was pushing their bikes. So we ended up teaming up, or not really teaming up, but there was a guy that started the same time as us. Cause the group start filled up. So we started a day after and did what's called an individual time trial. Well, there was a guy that started the same time as us that morning from Canada. His name is Landon. And when me and James do an episode, we'll have Landon will call in and stuff. We'll talk to Landon, but Landon is a very experienced cyclist. He is rode to Tour Divide, which is all the way from Canada to Mexico. He's done a lot of riding over in France. I mean, he's a dyed-in-the-wool cyclist. And he was pushing his bike, same places I was pushing my bike. And James, of course, has mountain biked his whole life. James was pushing his bike. I saw we did catch up to a couple other racers, and we also ran across a couple of people who were just out biking the Colorado Trail, not part of the race, but they were just doing it. They were all pushing their bikes the same places I was pushing my bike. So everyone I saw was pushing their bikes. That being said, there is no way that the guys who finished in 4 days, 4.5 days, the front runners of the race, there is no way they pushed their bikes as much as I pushed my bike. There's just no way. They had to have been riding more than me to finish that trail in 4 days. That being said, as much as I did push my bike, it is still faster to bike the trail than it is to hike it. Now, not run it, fully supported. I'm talking about like through hike it. You know what I mean? Most of your through hikers that were out there, and there were a bunch of them, it would take them about 30 days, 28, 30 days to hike that trail. Now, I told Chili on the phone, I said, I could run this trail fully supported faster than I could bike it. And I still believe that. Jeff Browning just ran the trail in 7 days. Now, I'm not Jeff Browning, but if I got tuned up, I could probably run it in 8 or 9 days. Yeah. But that being said, the bike was still faster. than actually just going out there and hiking it self-supported, you know. So Blake, I hope that answers your question. Yes, everybody else that I saw was pushing their bike as much as I was. That stuff is steep, buddy.
Yeah, I saw some videos you put up on there. It looked rough.
I'm talking
Even
about,
if you could pedal your bike up it, I would assume you could probably walk up it just as fast with your bike.
yeah.
Just a matter of getting on and off.
And you know, by day 5 or 6 too, your legs, just the cumulative work that you're putting in, you come to even just an incline that on a slick bike with fresh legs, yeah, you would ride on up it. But by day 5 or 6, you don't have the power in your legs to pedal up even a I wouldn't say a gradual incline, but a semi-steep incline that you would on day 1 or 2, you would pedal right up it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because your legs are just taking such a beating. But Blake, no, I think it is a common, it is commonly known that if you are going to do the Colorado Trail on a bicycle, you are going to be pushing your bike a lot. I think that's commonly known amongst people who have done the race.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the profile for the race on bikepacking.com, they say that the Colorado Trail is 90% rideable. It is a grossly negligent comment to make on a website as reputable as bikepacking.com. They say it's 90% rideable. And so when I saw that and read that profile, having not done the race before, nor ever talking to anyone who had done the race, I thought, okay, 90% rideable. That's good to go. I only got to push my bike 10% of the time. That's, 50 miles or so. I'll have to push my bike. I can handle that. Grossly negligent. There were days on this race that I thought, this is not even real. This is, nobody else is out here doing this. Like, this was just a sick joke. This whole concept or idea of biking this trail is just a sick joke that somebody has come up with to lure people like me into going out and attempting it.
To lure them into the San Juan Mountains.
Yeah. Yeah. James asked me one time, he said, who would you recommend this to? I said, I would literally not recommend this to anyone. Unless I wanted to play a sick joke on them. That'd be the only way.
So I got a question. Questions. So before you took off on the adventure, you said you hadn't got to train the way you wanted to, and you had a cold, and I can't remember what day it was. You'd sent out a text that, hey, I'm going to get an x-ray
Day
on my
2.
lungs. So between you didn't get to train what you want to do, talk about what was going on with your lungs at the time you decided to get that x-ray and how all that played into the entirety of the ride.
Yeah, it played into it tremendously. Yeah, so in June, I've had this race on the calendar for a long time. But in June, which is when I wanted to begin training for this, I had some big routes picked out that I wanted to go ride kind of back to back. You guys all know I had a daggone blood clot develop in my leg. So I was down the whole month of June because that thing hurt so bad. Y'all remember, I couldn't train. And then once it got better in July, I'm a month out from the race, which we all know you're not going to build fitness a month out from the race. But even though it got better, I didn't want to push hard because I didn't know how this thing was going to, I didn't know if that would like flare this thing back up, right? So I just took it easy the whole month of July so that hopefully I would be healthy enough to at least start the race. And that freaking sucked, man. And yeah, it affected me big time. Like my fitness and my strength, even just my leg strength and my shoulders and my back pushing that bike. It was terrible, man. It was weak. So that sucked, but I could get over that. Well, about a week before we're supposed to leave, I come down with some sort of brutal cold, dude, virus or something. I mean, my head was so stopped up when we were driving to Denver. I could not clear my ears. It was so miserable, dude, because there was so much mucus and snot in my head. Couldn't clear my ears, coughing up crap. But it's like, what do you do, man? You know, what do you do? And I started the race, sick as a dog, man. But I just thought, well, can I ride my bicycle? The answer was, yeah, I can ride my bicycle. I don't know how long or how fast, but I can ride. So I'm going to start it. And that was true. I could ride my bicycle. What I didn't factor is the elevation. And on day 2, we had to go up and over the first big pass. It was called Georgia Pass. So day 1, we were pretty low all day, and we camped right at the base of Georgia Pass. In the morning of day 2, we started going straight up the mountain. And that was the first big high point that we went over at 12,000 feet. And when I went over Georgia Pass, my lungs felt full. Like full to the point that I couldn't get any air into them. And that's when I realized, all right, this is dangerous. Like there were a couple of times where I would just begin gasping for air and my vision would actually black out and I would fully expect to pass out, but I would just have to stop and breathe. And finally I would get enough oxygen to keep going, but it was slow. And so we came down off of Georgia Pass and came into the first town that we hit on day 2, and that was Breckenridge. And leaving out of there, you're going straight back up and you stay up. And so I said, I'm going to have to go to the hospital, man, because that little taste that I just got of being up there that high, and I got to come right back down. But I knew if I was going to have to go up that high and even higher and stay up there for long periods of time, I wasn't going to make it. So I thought on day 2 that my race was over. I really did. I thought I was going to go to that hospital and I thought they were going to x-ray my lungs and tell me that my lungs were full of, pneumonia or something, because that's what it felt like. And I thought, yeah, well, this is it for me, man. This is going to be, there's no way I'm going to be able to finish this. Now, that wasn't the case. Luckily, they x-rayed my lungs, and my lungs pneumonia had not set in. And that dude gave me steroids. He gave me an inhaler, and he gave me antibiotics. And them steroids and that inhaler, they like started working immediately, man. And they opened my lungs up enough to where I could at least go up there and not feel like I was literally about to die. And that's what I had to deal with the whole time. You know, it
Right.
never did clear up. I mean, I'm still coughing up crap, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked.
Mm.
That sucked.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
Chili, I know you got some questions.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, I'm gonna go pee real quick. So
Good
y'all
night.
talk about what the questions are gonna be.
Well, I don't really have any questions. Sounds like you went on a long ride. Walk. I like you messed with him, Blake. I mean, he said he got it done, and what'd you say? You said,
Go back and ride it one day.
yeah, you should go back and ride it. I mean, what a hateful comment that was. I mean, hateful.
You know, before he
Full of
left,
spite.
Blake told him, go to the doctor and get you some steroids, Bubba. It'll knock that out that you got.
He said, nah.
I mean, Blake is full of spite. He's spiteful.
He said, no. Ain't doing that.
Steroids. Well, so he cheated.
Wonder if it was TRT or
Yeah, he cheated.
yeah. What yeah. Yeah, he did.
Did you take HGH too?
No, just
You cheated.
well, the steroids weren't the muscle steroids. It was some kind of pill.
You cheated.
Prednisone.
Prednisone, yeah.
Cortisone. Cheated.
Dad, boom.
Anabolics.
So that was day 2. So you said that elevation, did it affect you anymore the rest of the time? I have no idea what elevation is at all. I mean, I know what elevation is, but being up in it, the effects of it, did that continue throughout the whole time? You said the steroids and stuff worked pretty quick, but did you have any more episodes of that? Or
Yeah, pretty much constantly.
really?
Yeah,
Well,
it was just manageable.
I mean, anytime you've got legitimate altitude problems, you've got to get down. Were there any stretches where you were at 12,000 feet and had to stay there for 24 hours? Or were you always coming off of it,
No,
at least down to?
No, he was up there all the time in that hail,
So really,
pulling his beard out,
so
blacking out. It
so
was that was the whole ride.
So the Colorado Trail it sits at 14,000, gets up to maybe 14.5, and it's literally lightning strikes every 5 seconds.
no. When you cut, it is above 10,000 feet unless you come down into a town.
Okay.
Yeah. So usually you'd be up there for 2 days at a time.
Does it average 10,000?
Probably, yeah.
Maybe a little
I would
more.
assume that, maybe a little more.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
trail is like if you just the mean there is about 10,000 feet.
I mean, there were multiple nights that we slept
At 10.
above. We slept above 11,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, multiple nights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, if you were having real problems, you'd have had to come down quicker than that, but there was not much option to, right? I mean, not super quick.
Yeah. No, you were up there. And it just literally felt like you would just start gasping for air. And then finally you would get enough air.
You
You
got
just
asthma.
had to go slow.
You got asthma. You got adult onset asthma.
So with all that going on, all the bike pushing, what part of the trail did you like? Was there anything there that you did enjoy?
Yeah, a lot
Corn's a good interviewer.
for sure.
This is like 60 minutes.
One, I liked how hard it was, for sure. I mean, I got poopy pants about it a couple of times. But I liked how hard it was. But I mean, I would have been disappointed if it would have been easy, or easier. It was hard enough to say, okay, this is a once in a lifetime thing. Like I ain't coming back to do this. So let's get through it, which is pretty unique because, you go and run a race, even like you run Cocodona. you know, there's parts of you that say, I want to come back and try this again and see if I can do better at it. This is not like that. It is so miserable that when you're in it, you say, I ain't coming back to do this again, ever. And that's cool, man. It's cool to experience something that hard. Another thing that I liked about it was just the fact that I got to see all of that in 10 days. I mean, we covered the entire state. You know, we were basically right on the New Mexico border. So I got to see all of that in 10 days, man. I mean, that's some country out there, buddy.
Yeah.
Wild country. Super remote. I liked what the race was all about for me. I posted it on Patreon. Was the people and the places, really. So those were two other things I liked. The people that you meet. You meet people out there, and they're in the midst of their own journey, and they're just as beat down and ragged as you are. And so the conversations that you get to have with people out there, one, they're hilarious. Like I remember one time a guy was holding a pack of pickles, and he said, there's only 15 calories in this pack of pickles. What a waste of space. Like, when else is anyone ever going to say that about a pickle? It's like, or you know, you meet Big Al. You know, Big Al. I come up on this old guy that's filtering water out of a ditch 100 miles from the nearest town. And I ease up on this dude, and he's so just beat down that he can barely formulate a sentence, you know? But he gets to feeling better, and we get to ride together and start talking to Al about him and his life and his family and the people that you meet at this hat I got on right here, the Cathedral Ranch. The people that this is like a little family farm. It's a mile off route, and it's in between Leadville and Silverton, 180-mile stretch. And this is like the only place that you can get any sort of resupply or anything. And it's a husband and wife that own this ranch. And they allow you to ride your bicycle up, and they just take you into their home, allow you to crash out on the couch while another freaking storm comes over, give you food. I ate 2 large Supreme pizzas and a burrito in one sitting at the Cathedral Ranch. And the people are just so awesome, man. It's people that are living out in this rugged place, you know, that'll just open their home up to you and allow you to come and rest or do whatever and feed you. And I mean, it was amazing. Yeah. So the people, I loved that part of it. The thru hikers that you meet, you know, they're out in the midst of their own thing. A lot of them had been out there for 20, 30 days. I mean, you can have real meaningful conversation with people. Like, you don't talk about politics out there. You don't talk about any of that crap out there, man. You have real conversations with people out there. Came down off a hill, man. Came down off the mountain in this one spot. It was starting to get dark. We were running a little low on food. It was getting cold. There's this old guy out there in the middle of nowhere in a bus. He had set up a bus, and he was doing trail magic. And we pull up to this bus, and this dude's like, yeah, come on. He had him a fire pit dug out. He had a fire going. He said, y'all hang out, man. I'm going to cook you some hamburgers. Cooked us some dang hamburgers, brought us out some dessert. Old dude in a bus. I wish I could remember his name.
Oh, don't skip over this trail magic. What do you mean he was doing trail magic? What is
We ain't never hit that trail magic.
Come
No.
on, Corn.
what is
Corn.
trail
You
magic?
you signed up for a 370-mile ride and you don't know what trail
I
magic
don't.
is.
Well, you about to hit some.
What is trail
So let me
magic?
tell you about this guy, man. This guy was in his late 60s, early 70s. This feller that was in this bus, this guy was legit. All right. He was like one of those perpetual walkers.
Oh yeah,
All right.
that's cool.
So this guy had done all the major trails. He had biked across the country multiple times. Basically his whole life, that's just what he did is just traveled these routes and long distances on foot or on a bicycle. And trail magic is when you're on a long trail. Appalachian Trail, Colorado Trail, Arizona Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, one of these long trails or routes that are well known. And there are people called trail angels that will come out and they'll just like hang a sack on a tree limb or a fence post somewhere that'll have like a can of Coke or a couple candy bars in it or something. And on that sack will be written trail magic. And they put that stuff out there for these people that are out doing these routes as like when you're out there, dude, and you've been out there for a long time and you come across a can of Coca-Cola and you're sitting here thinking, I ain't going to hit a store for another week. And here's a can of Coke. I mean, it's big. It's a big deal. Or like you'll come across, you'll be riding down this trail, dude, and somebody will have hauled a cooler out there and just set it on the side of the trail. And on the top of the cooler, it says trail magic. And you'll open it up. It'll have Red Bulls in it, candy bars, whatever you want, man. And you just take what you want. And so you can't understand how meaningful that trail magic is until you've been out there for that long and you run across it. And so that leads me to my third point of what this race meant to me is appreciation for those little things like that right there.
Yeah.
Like running up on some old cat that is living out of a bus and he's going to cook me a hamburger. Now, I don't know this cat. I don't know what kind of meat, if it's organic, good. He might be cooking me a hamburger made out of ground beef that's been expired for a month. But you don't care. You're going to eat it. Like a hamburger, dude. I mean, I can run down here right now and get me a hamburger. And guess what? I'm probably going to complain about it. Because right here in the front country, you know what I mean? This hamburger's, it's all right, but they could have done this a little different. They could have cooked it a little better. Nah. When you out there, you going to eat that hamburger that fella cooks you in that bus, and that's going to be the best dang hamburger you ever put in your mouth, son. And so this dude has done all these big routes, but now he's getting old. And he told me, look, man, he said, I can't tell you how many times I've been out there and I've run up on trail magic that's got me out of a pinch because I was low on food or whatever. And he said, so many of these people, I'll never be able to thank them. Because it's just a cooler in the woods or a bag somebody hung off a fence post somewhere. And they said, I'll never be able to thank them for what they did for me. So he said, so this is my way of thanking them. So he built this bus out and he drives out there to that spot and he stays there for a week every year. And he does this for these people who are through hiking the Colorado Trail. And that's his way of giving back or of thanking people, you know. And after he fed me that hamburger and all that, he said, now look, I got a little bit of weed. I got some weed in there too. You want some of that? I said,
That's the real magic.
I said, look here, buddy. I said, I appreciate that, but I ain't never smoked weed in my life. I said, you'd have me so jammed up if I was to be out here smoking that weed. He said, oh yeah, we'd have you walking over them hot coals right there in about 2 minutes.
Take you a toke.
Yeah, weed's big out there.
Yeah.
It's legal out there. You can buy it just like cigarettes, you know?
Yeah.
So it was funny though, after he said that, there were like maybe 5 or 6 through hikers sitting around there. And one of the through hikers, after he said that and I responded the way I did, he came up to me and he said, this is all again about the people I met. This guy comes up to me and he says, you know what, man, I'm 48 years old. And he said, I've never smoked weed either. He said, I had 2 parents who were stoners and that was enough for me to stay away from it. And I just thought that was cool because you could tell when I responded that way and I turned down those drugs, that made that guy like connect with me. You know what I mean? Because everybody else around him for however long he's been out there, they've all been smoking weed.
Yeah.
And, he came up to me and was like, we were buddies. You know what I mean? I thought that was cool. But yeah, that's another dude, the old dude out there in the bus doing trail magic. But see, you can't appreciate trail magic because look, man, if you go out here today on a, or on your run, or you go out here today on a bike ride and you find a cooler on the side of the trail that's got some stuff in it, you ain't going to take none of that. You're going to be like, who put that out here? They ain't no telling what they put in there. You know what I mean? They ain't no telling how long it's been out there. You can't appreciate it.
Right.
You can't appreciate stuff, man. We don't appreciate hardly anything, man. I mean, we don't. But when you're out there, you start to appreciate even just simply having a little overhang shelter to hunker down under when the daggone storm hits. And like you're just looking out and you're like, man, I sure am glad I got this little overhang to stand under right now while this storm passes. But when you're sitting in your house here in the front country and the storm's coming through, you don't think that way. You don't appreciate the fact that you got a roof over your head. You don't even think about it, man.
Did anything that happened to you on the trail, or did anything that happened on this trip? So there was a lot of things that happened to you, and everything that happens to you, you react to. Did anything surprise you? Not did anything that happened to you surprise you, but did your reaction to anything that happened surprise you how you responded?
Well,
I asked that in a really confusing way, but
I was probably most surprised that I went to the hospital.
really?
Yeah. I was definitely probably most surprised about that. I was probably pretty surprised also of how I reacted to the San Juans. How I got to the point because I like landscapes. I think landscapes and mountains are beautiful. But it was surprising to me that I got to the point out there in that particular mountain range where I no longer thought it was beautiful. I got to where I was looking at those. I looked at those mountains as like ominous.
Yeah.
Because they were so hard to move through and there was just nowhere to hide. And so that was strange. Yeah. To have that perspective on a landscape like that, you know. Yeah, I was pretty surprised about that. And then I guess the other thing that kind of caught me off guard was again, so many times these things that we go and do, these races and these challenges, so much of it is about the physical challenge. Like so much of it is for me about pushing myself to my limit or doing something hard or what am I going to learn new about myself by doing this hard thing? And it surprised me that although this thing that I did was extremely hard, it surprised me that had no meaning to me. It has still to this day, it has zero meaning to me. I don't know why. It just means to me, it means nothing that it was hard or that it challenged me.
So like you are you speaking like of your performance too? Like you went through 10 days and what little bit I saw that you posted, that looked rough. Your performance for 10 days doesn't mean anything to you?
Nope.
What I mean, you was out there with James. What'd you say his name? Landon?
Yeah.
I mean,
Lando.
I mean, y'all all performed. None of that means nothing.
Mm-mm.
Really?
Nope. It doesn't mean anything to me. No, it's really weird that the meaningful part of the entire thing was the people I met, the places that I got to see and experience, and the reinvigoration of my own appreciation for very, very simple and basic things. That's it. That was that was what that whole experience was about for me.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
It didn't start that way though, did it? I mean, did you go into it with that?
No, it didn't. It didn't start that way. No, I didn't. To be honest with you, I don't know that I went into it with any expectations at all, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I did. And maybe I would have went into it with more expectations revolving around the physical challenge aspect of it if I would have been able to train more for it. And if I would have been healthy going into it. I think I would have probably been more focused on like, okay, how fast can we get this done? How hard can we push? So, but because I wasn't healthy and because I wasn't trained, I just kind of went into it saying, well, at this point, I'm just doing this because I said I was going to do it. I mean, that's the only reason I started.
Right.
Is because I said I was going to do it.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to be able to go fast as I would want to go, just simply because of my physical condition, you know?
Well, now that it's over, your actual performance, what do you think of that? We know you didn't go as fast as what you could have had you been able to train the way you wanted to, but you still did it. What do you think about that? What you actually did?
I mean, if I look at it objectively, again, it really means nothing to me.
Right.
But if I look at it objectively, I know I moved way slower than I would have been able to move a few months ago.
Right.
Yeah, that was obvious. I mean, on the last morning, I could not get going, dude. Like, no kidding. I would walk 10 feet and I would have to stop for 5 minutes.
Like physically or motivationally?
No, physically.
Okay.
I could not get going. It's like my engine would not fire up, dude. It kept feeling like I was going to pass out on the last morning. I mean, it probably took me 4 hours before I could get to the point where I could push my bike at a 2 miles per hour pace.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to work through. I'm not used to working through that. Yeah. And two, being in the back of the group that I was with, I mean, the last four days I was in the back the whole time. I mean, those guys would be leading, Lando and James, they'd be leading me sometimes by half a mile.
Right.
You know, I ain't used to sucking hind tit, man. It was different. Different for sure. So,
Well, I think you explained it well enough to not make anybody want to do it.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I ever hear another bike packer compare TNGA with the Colorado Trail, I'm going to punch them in their freaking face. If I ever hear that again. Because I heard it multiple times leading up to this. People comparing TNGA with the Colorado Trail Race. TNGA is a freaking training ride for the Colorado Trail Race. It's a training ride. Straight up. Let's just go ahead and air that out for a second. Yeah. And you know how I know that? I saw the lady that's like the TNGA champion. She's on the documentary film and everything. I saw her at halfway. She was barely moving. In a few hours after that, she quit. There's no comparison. Let me put that out there for all y'all.
Good bomb.
I like how what was it? A year and a half ago, you were going to take over the mountain biking scene in America. I remember that. That was cool. And then you started with Hurricane. I mean, you've done 3 races. Am I wrong?
Yeah, 3 races.
Hurricane, TNGA, Colorado Trail, and next is Tour Divide.
Yeah.
And then you should just quit.
No, I have to also do the Arizona Trail.
Is that longer than Colorado Trail?
Yes.
So that's next.
So to get there's a Triple Crown.
I'm going to start with the Tour Divide.
The Triple Crown is the Colorado Trail, the Arizona Trail, and the Tour Divide. You don't have to do them in any certain order. You can do them all in the same year. Whew. But so the Arizona Trail is more difficult than the Colorado Trail. The Arizona Trail is the hardest one.
Really?
Yes, it's 800 miles. You have to
the Grand Canyon.
You have to put your bike on your back and pack it across the Grand Canyon. You cannot put your tires on the ground in the Grand Canyon. You have to literally disassemble your bike.
That's cool.
And carry it on your back across the entire Grand Canyon on the Arizona Trail.
I mean, why you would do this crap on wheels, I don't know. Like, just hike them, run them.
It's still faster on a bike.
Yeah, but it ain't about being fat. Like, I just don't like bicycling. That's pretty much all there is to it.
So, yeah, I have to do the Arizona Trail.
So I shouldn't start with the Tour Divide. That's easier than the Arizona Trail.
Yes.
Oh, then I'll start with the Arizona Trail then.
Okay, we'll do the Arizona Trail then.
Just hear
We'll
you
do it.
complain the whole time. I freaking hate the Grand Canyon. It's ugly and I hate it.
Ain't no animals here.
Oh, and that's another thing about the Arizona Trail. So the Colorado Trail, there's tons of water.
Oh yeah, I bet there ain't much there.
On the Arizona Trail, there are sections where you have to pack like 10 liters of water on your bike because there's no water. It's so dry. So yeah, that one's gonna be hard.
Oh man. Hurricane, TNGA, Colorado Trail, Tour Divide, Arizona Trail, done.
Yep.
I'll join you on the last one.
I'll tell you what though, man. All that being said, I do love riding the bike. I mean, when you get to ride it, I mean, it's intense, man. Some of those downhills, be 10 miles worth of downhill coming off a big 12,000 foot mountain range on little single track trail. I'm talking about it is intense, dude.
I bet.
You got a lot of maintenance you got to do to your bike.
Well, I worked on it pretty much all day yesterday.
Dang.
I'm probably gonna go ride here in just a little bit. But I think it's got some life left in it.
Yeah.
So you, James, and Landon, no major bike issues?
Yeah, I mean, you're constantly managing bike issues.
I mean, but anything that you had to like.
Nothing catastrophic. I
Okay.
mean, other than James lost his brakes one time.
That's pretty catastrophic.
Yeah, that kind of screwed him up. Luckily, he made it down into a town and he was able to get some larger discs put on his brake system. So that helped him a little bit, but he's just so heavy. He's so big and heavy coming down some of those massive descents. He just needed a bigger brake caliper.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're constantly managing bike issues. Your crap's constantly getting bent up and beat up, and you just trying to stay on top of it and keep the bike working well enough that you can actually pedal it. But nothing catastrophic. It's unbelievable the punishment that those bikes can take. Yeah.
No major wrecks.
I wrecked twice. James wrecked a good handful of times. You have to give him a wide berth, man. Yeah, he came up a few times off of wrecks and his bike was just mangled. And we would have to pull the tools out and redo his handlebars and everything's just all twisted up. I only wrecked twice. Both of mine weren't bad. I mean, I just laid the bike down both times.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt anything. But
Landon?
I never saw Lando wreck. No.
What's the percentage of, this might be a stupid question, but like people clipped in versus just going clipless now on a trail like that?
Well, there's probably more people that are still clipped into their pedals. But halfway through the race, Landon abandoned his clip-in pedals.
Yeah.
And he just bought some flat pedals. Because he was like, we're walking more than we're riding time-wise. And so that would be the way to ride it. If I ever did it again, which I might do it again, if I ever did, I would wear hiking shoes and flat pedals for sure. That'd be the way to go.
Well, I mean, it just seems like it makes the most sense on something like that. I mean, you're literally doing more hiking than riding.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know they make some shoes that are not terrible to hike in, clip, but they are.
Oh, they're terrible.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had a massive blister on my right heel after day 2. I had to manage that the entire time.
So, yeah, it seems like that'd be the way to go.
For sure. Well, y'all got any more questions for me? YouTube have any questions, Blake?
How good did you sleep at night? Sadie Jones wanted to know.
I would say it's intermittent sleep. I took a bivy sack, and a bivy sack is uncomfortable as crap because when you get in it, there's not room to like roll up on your side or anything. You're basically just in a cocoon. So slept good enough to keep going, but probably 4 to 6 hours a night, maybe.
Did it rain much when it was dark?
Yeah, it rained.
Or I didn't know if it was like only just a little evening thing, and then in the morning, like throughout the day, whatever, how it rained. Was it just sporadic?
It
pretty
was
much
yeah,
constant?
it was sporadic. I mean, on the last night that we were out there, right at dark, a storm blew in, and it was violent, dude. Like it was blowing down trees all around us. These storms are violent, man. And so, yeah, it could rain at any time.
Yeah.
It could rain at night, day, it doesn't matter. But the best thing that you could do when you got ready to bed down at night is find a big spruce tree, if you could find one, and tuck up under it and get as close to the trunk of that spruce tree as you possibly could. Because those limbs, they're so dense and those trees are so tall that right around the base of those trees, no matter how hard it rained, it would be dry.
Mm.
So every night, that's what I tried to find, is some sort of spruce tree to tuck up underneath. And of course, at that point, you're not getting the best flat ground. You're trying to get in a dry spot.
Yeah.
So I was able to get a little rest.
I've seen a video. Y'all was looked like up on top of a big flat ridge, and I mean the wind was whooping it. Was that a constant thing, the wind, or was that just before storms come in or after storms?
That was just during storms.
Just during storms.
Yeah, that wind wouldn't be bad. Dude, we went across a place. There's a section of that trail called Sergeant's Mesa. And the trails on Sergeant's Mesa are cut very similar to how they cut trails out here on the East Coast. Like your Duncan Ridge trails and stuff that are just straight up the mountain and straight down to a gap over and over again. It come a storm up on Sergeant's Mesa, and it stormed so bad that I was walking through hail that was over my ankle deep.
Okay. Oh, son. That's rough.
Yeah. I wish I would have got it on video, but I was too cold to pull my phone out. It was
ankle deep hail.
I'm not
good.
I am not kidding you, dude.
Was that like if you were to scratch it up in a 6-foot circle and mount up and you step in it and you say, "That blast is ankle deep, James"?
No. James will tell y'all about it when we do the big recap. That was one of the worst.
That was pretty much the whole time, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
It hailed at 14,000 feet the whole time.
Pretty much.
I'm not kidding you. Every one of these storms had hail in it. Every storm that hit us had hail in it.
Dang.
Yeah.
I bet it did. It's August. It's hail season.
What I'm trying to say really is none of you guys would have made it.
I was waiting on that.
We already knew that. That's why we didn't go.
Why did you wait this long to say that?
That's really what I'm trying to say.
There you go.
Chili Senior wants to know, where did you get your Zen at while you were out there?
Oh, I packed it in. Yeah,
Mm.
I had plenty packed in there, adding to that light bicycle weight.
Thought I was Chili Senior.
There must be one of you. Gravity Bounce wants to know, were you able to share Christ with anyone in Colorado, Chad?
Oh yeah, many people.
Gravity Bounce.
Yeah, many people. Many people. Speaking of that, it was one interesting response that I got is I asked somebody at some point, were they Christian? Because yeah, the situation just came up, and they said, "No, I'm not Christian, but I believe in God." And I just got to thinking, what do people think? Like, what advantage do they think they're gaining by believing in God? I just, I don't know. It just crossed my mind. It's like, well, okay, you believe in God. Well, like, is that supposed to mean that, like, okay, since you believe in God, that God is going to love you? Like, what does God owe you to the point that you think that you believing in him means anything?
Well, it may not even be the God of Israel, our God. And they might believe in some other
Well,
God.
yeah, they're just talking about, I believe in the creator, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you, do you think that gives you any eh, advantage or
I mean,
forgiveness or
well, did
like,
they act like they thought it gave them an advantage? I mean, you
Yeah.
asked them a question and
Yeah.
then they just answered it. But did they say, "Oh yeah, I believe in God and this and this"?
well, essentially that's why they live the way that they live. Like,
Oh.
they live a good life because they believe in God, right?
Yeah, and they're a good person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's astounding how many people think that the fact that they have decided to believe in God through whatever logic they've used, that makes them secure in some way, shape, or form. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It just popped into my head. But yeah, I got to share the gospel with many people out there. For sure.
Yeah, I don't really see any more right now.
Well, you've got a question, Blake.
About what?
Well, I mean, you wanted to know if he was going to try to ride it one day.
Oh, I just told him he should go back and bike it one day instead of hike it.
Yeah.
Lighten your bike up.
Yeah, I don't think I'll go back and do that. Not unless one of you guys wanted to do it. If one of you guys wanted to do it, I think it would be worth it getting to go along with you and watch you suffer through it.
Oh, you'd never see me.
I think that would really be worth it.
Yeah, Chad, he sleeps too much at night. He'd never see me.
Yeah, Chili he's already knows how to bike that trail, the times you need to go. And
Yeah.
yeah. He said the problem was y'all should have been riding at night when the storms weren't bearing down on you and sleeping in the day.
Yeah, except it stormed at night too.
No, it rained at night. It didn't storm at night.
Then you would have just been
wasn't
riding
hail.
through a storm at night.
There wasn't hail. It didn't hail at night.
Mm. Okay.
If it did, it was only just maybe a half inch.
Yeah, and you
Deep.
ain't talking ankle deep hail anyway.
Yeah.
I'll do the AZT. It's the hardest one.
You will?
Oh yeah. Now what is the longest, hardest ride in America?
Well, the longest off-road route is the Continental Divide,
But you're saying that's
which
so
follows the Tour. The Tour Divide is just the race on the
Yeah.
Continental Divide trail.
Well, what makes the Continental Divide easier than the Arizona Trail?
Because you can ride it.
Well, I guarantee you can, and it goes through the Colorado Trail.
Look, man, when you
Part of it.
go on a trail that doesn't allow bikes and you say you're going to bike it, it's really hard to do because you can't bike it.
I'm not saying that the Tour Divide is not. I'm not saying that the Tour Divide isn't hard. I think it's just different.
Yeah.
Like, it would have different parts of it that's hard. Like, one of the things that would be harder about the Tour Divide is you're going to be out there for 30 days instead of 10 days. And you're going to be on your bike seat all day, which causes some significant problems. Sitting on a bike seat for 30 straight days all day long. Like, that'll rub you raw real quick. So I'm not saying that it's not hard. I think it would just be different. But I think overall, like, it sounds like the Arizona Trail is probably the toughest out of all of them, just overall. I mean, could you imagine putting your bike on your back and crossing the Grand Canyon? I mean, I don't even know. You're going to have to come up with some sort of rig to even be able to do that.
Real bike packing there.
It is.
Yeah.
That's really what that means. That's where it started. Arizona.
Well, I figured you boys would be able to conduct a little better interview than that. But
Look, I thought Corn did really well.
yeah, Corn did pretty good. Blake, you really didn't do anything. I thought you guys would be able to do better than that, but you know.
Look, man, we've been busy doing that deal while you's gone. We ain't got time to be thinking about what we're gonna ask him when he gets back on the podcast interview.
You're almost there, Bubba. You'll catch your rhythm here in a week.
No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
We're almost there.
So we just want to check in with you guys, and since I'm gonna be out later on this week, want to check in, say hello, let you know where I've been. We'll have another episode coming out on Wednesday, but it will be on the audio platform only. So if you guys, it's another interview episode that'll drop on Wednesday. If you need some good listening, go check it out. And we'll be back to our regular schedule, Lord willing, next week. Blake, we got any super chats or anything you need to go over?
We had a few. We had Joseph Brackus, $1.99. Should have had more hot dogs before the race. I think they watched the eating competition. And he come back in at $1.99 again. Said enough said.
Thank you, buddy.
Travis Van S, $9.99. Well done, brother. Thanks for the inspiration to do a marathon ruck this Saturday.
Heck yeah, man. Get after it.
Man of Steel, $4.99. Steering wheel covers are for people that vote for Camel Law.
Yeah.
Chili for president.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm trying.
Superman.
Chad Bennett, $5. Welcome back. The guys did an awesome job on Truck Talk. Listening from Mackinac Island, Michigan. You guys should pop up here for a tour sometime.
Good old Michigan. Thank you, buddy.
Tom Russell coming in at $20. Glad you're back, Chad. I was praying for you. Great resurrected last night, CB and Blake. Love y'all.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Marty Bingham, $9.99. Number one, I took notice.
He really is numbering them now.
When Chad got stoved up playing pickleball. His steady decline since then confirmed what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Marty.
That is true.
It did start with that.
It did the arm and the pickleball.
It did. Holy
Marty,
crap.
I will run your old tail into the ground, son.
Well, you'll have a chance in September.
Yeah.
About 1 month from now.
You just come on, Marty. I'm going to run your old tail into the ground, son.
He come back in at number 2. He said he is not old enough to have old man strength. He hasn't birthed any babies, so he doesn't have any dad strength. He just has plain old Navy SEAL strength, and that will fade out on him. I don't see but one way out of it.
Oh, Marty.
Clayton Lindsay coming at $19.99. Don't nobody want to hear about that dang blister on your foot, man. These old toes of mine are still black and blue. Sounds like you got to be hard boiled to complete the Colorado Trail. Good work.
Yeah, boy, Clayton's feet were jacked up, son.
Thank you, Clayton.
Haven Dezou, $19.99. Just watched Chad compete in a hot dog eating competition on the channel. That professional eater was crazy, and Chad, by comparison, looked like a hobbyist eater. Good grief, Chad. You eat like a bird. Did you even try to win?
That was so miserable, dude.
Thank you.
Marty Bingham come back at $19.99.
Good night.
He'll need to clear about 2.5 acres and plant a Chinaman. Harvest him while he's still young so he can gain enough strength to carry him to the old man's strength. Let's hope he doesn't go full Joe Biden before then.
Is that number 3?
Yeah.
He didn't know about that Chinaman
Truck
Talk.
Marty won't even he don't even fully number them.
No.
Like that What order was that supposed to go in?
Yeah, that was the last one. But
Thank you, Marty.
and the last one here, we got Zach Kirshner, 1999. Glad the
Zach.
Marmots didn't take you out. Can't wait to be in Rome with Shannon next month for the Jewel. May show up to CrossFit, Lord willing. Love
Heck
y'all.
yeah, Zach. Hope we get to see you. Yeah, that's my favorite animal out there, marmot. Have y'all seen them?
I've just seen them on TV.
Marmots. You ever
Yeah.
seen them, Chill?
Have we not seen them in Utah?
I think there's a few up there.
Yeah.
I saw thousands of them, dude. They're so
They're
funny.
thick in Colorado.
They are
aren't
hilarious, man. Like one of them one time ran out. I was riding down the trail, and one of them ran out in the trail and ran along in front of my bicycle for maybe 100 yards. And then it got tired of running. So it jumps one jump off the trail, sticks its head in between these two cracks in the rock, and then realizes it's not really a hole. So he just picks his head up and just sits there. I'm like, what the crap, man? I would love to have one as a pet.
Oh, you are a pet, man.
They're amazing
Like
animals,
cats,
man.
dogs. Jeez.
You know the noise a marmot makes? That's all they do.
It's like a dying rabbit.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, guys.
Marmot.
Thank y'all for joining. Me and James will sit down sometime in the next few weeks and do a full recap of the Colorado Trail Race. Just want to touch base with you guys. Love you. Enough said.